Good evening. Amongst us, we have Mr. Prem Nath, P, who is the Deputy Director of Prosecution, Ernakulam, and he's also Master Trainer. We had connected with him so that he could share his insights because one of his forte is anti-human trafficking in the Indian perspective. We have always been speaking and hearing about that. So we had requested Mr. Prem Nath to share his insights. Being a trained master trainer, he readily agreed to share his knowledge. Since we are live, we would request Mr. Prem to share his knowledge. Over to you.
Thank you, Vikas, for a wonderful opportunity to meet a lot of legal professionals across the country. And I am so happy to share some of my knowledge in the anti-human trafficking initiative by the Government of India Ministry of Home Affairs. I am so happy that I could meet a lot of people and great opportunity for me to address all of you. Friends, you might have witnessed many incidents of human trafficking. And one of the most common incident of human trafficking is missing girls. So the police were taking care of the missing girls syndrome, and a lot of girls, including girls and boys, are used to miss in many parts of the country. And whenever it is being reported, that was being charged. FIR is registered under sections of law which are available in each state under each state's police act and everything. So most of the girls who were missing were gone to trafficking. So in most of the cases, a girl child trafficked into commercial sexual exploitation, and it is the greatest human right violation in the country also. So now let us examine some of the points in human trafficking. This is the latest NCRB report on missing children of 2021. So there are till 2021, with the cumulative effect of all the cases till that year, untraced boys were 31,244 and untraced girls were 90,113, which comes total of 1,21,351 children who are below 18 years old are missing. And out of that 1,21,351, the recovered is 17,845 boys and 58,980 girls. Total comes around 76,827. The unrecovered is the most part which we should worry about ourselves. It's only 13,000 in boys, but 31,133, which is total 44,524 girls and boys are missing. So where they are going? So most of them are going for the girl if they are trafficked. So most of the girls who are trafficked goes to commercial sexual exploitation. And as far as the commercial sexual exploitation is concerned, once they go to that particular industry, the consequence is irreversible. Most of them die from the spot itself in the brothel homes because of the lot of people who are coming there. Most of them are psychopaths and they take care of the people in a very bad way. And even they have a lot of diseases and other things. They were treated by the heart doctors, even using acids, those things on the private parts. And they have a very bad history in their lifetime. And they will have a lot of burns, injury, lot of assaults and everything. Every day it is being part of their lives. Only 7% of the victims are being rescued by the police. So as far as trafficking is concerned, there are two types of trafficking. One is a brothel based, another is a non-brothel based. So brothel based, everybody knows that a person is running a brothel like Red Street and other thing, and also Star brothel homes are there. Many flats are being used for such activity. And for the last few years, even in India, we have sex tourism and cyber sex and cyber pornography. But again, not only this sex trafficking, the trafficking is for exploited labor also. So the trafficked girls and boys, women and children, they are used. Women and men are used for exploitation in labor that can be domestic level, industrial, and agriculture. you can see a lot of domestic servants, especially in North India, many from the very poor states, the children were taken to many posh areas and they were being sold out by their parents and they are working as domestic help for domestic aid others. Then industrial. In a recent case, a 15-year-old boy was died in a steel company in Kerala. So this fellow was taken from Odisha and amount was paid to their parents. And even though there is a strict regulation that children should not be used for a hazardous purpose, he was made to use in the clean the big industrial output and everything, and he was fell down in there and he died also. And even agriculture, even for many agriculture purpose, people are being used also. Then another is entertainment like circus. Then camel racing. You might have seen in Gulf areas there are camel racing, and in camel racing, unlike in horse riding, jockey will be there on the top of the horse. But as far as the camel racing is concerned, that jockey will be tied on the right leg. Then many of the people, many of the children who were taken from India and other underdeveloped countries, they were used for camel racing, and most of the boys and the girls at in the age between 3 to 5 were taken, and these people were children were trafficked, and they were brought to that place, and they were tied to the camel leg, and they were when they were crying, camel will also run, and when camel runs again, they will cry. So that was a pattern which was used for a long time. And most of the children who were recovered or rescued by the police had paralyzed legs and paralyzed hands because of they were tied tightly in the leg of the camel. Now they are using electronic gadgets instead of children. Another is illegal adoption. As everybody knows very well that we have adoption procedures. We have a centralized adoption and response agency, CERA.nic.in. So those who wants to adopt a child, they have to register there. They have to upload the document, including the doctor's certificate, including the bank statement, and all those things. Then the District Child Protection Unit will conduct a interview, conduct a survey, and also then only they will allow adoption. But even in India, in many places, the children are being sold by the parents in the hospital and with the help of the doctors and other officials also. And children are also used for begging, as we can see everywhere in there, and it's an organized crime also. And we know very well that getting an organ, let it be a kidney or liver, whatever it may be, it's a difficult task. So you have to spend a lot of money for getting a kidney because it is very difficult to get from a relative. So even some people are being taken, they were trafficked and they were killed and their organs were removed. And the recent activity which was reported is even skin. The skin was also being used for trading, for hacking, trafficking activity. For skin trade is also started in India. So because it is very difficult to get such people in the European country, so many people from India are also being taken to that areas. So another trafficking for other types of exploitation is the false marriage. Because even in India now dowry is a big problem. So for an economically poor community, giving dowry is a big issue. So some people will come there and ask for that we are ready to marry a person without dowry, and immediately the poor bride's parents hand over them. And these girls are being used for trafficking, for commercial sexual exploitation, also getting gold and other ornaments from them. And this is an organized crime because the trafficked children or trafficked people are being used for drug courier, arms courier, and counterfeiting courier also. And even the children are used for militancy and nationalism and other types also being used. So now let's examine its dimensions of human trafficking. So every human trafficking activity is a multi-dimensional threat. Basically, it deprives people of their human rights and freedom. And it's a global health risk also because whenever a person, a girl or a woman is brought to a brothel home, and many people, every day, many people, clientele used to visit them. So these clients will have a lot of disease with them, like sexually transmitted diseases and syphilis, gonorrhea, and HIV, AIDS, and all these things. So it is being spread to all the people. There is a chance to spread to all the people also. and this fuels the growth of the organized crime. And now let's examine the impact. The impact, whenever such a girl or a boy is being trafficked, the first impact on them is that they don't have any trust on the people. And they will never believe any people. And they don't have any identity also, because immediately after being trafficked, when they were taken to a brothel home or when they are taken to a commercial sexual exploitation, the names are being changed to a beautiful or a name. And after a few years, they will forget their name itself. They will have a very poor self-worth and poor self-esteem also. And helplessness. They cannot go out. They cannot go free. They cannot go out. They cannot report the matter to the police. They cannot go to any judicial authorities. So it becomes a learned helpless to many of the people. And the most tragic event is the post-traumatic stress disorder. Every victim who are rescued from a brothel home suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. And they are being addicted because one day, lot of clients, more than 10 to 12 clients used to visit a girl. So with a normal culture, it will not be them to accommodate these people. So they will be addicted, even starting with a lot of drugs and other things, then ganja, lot of things are being addicted, and also marijuana, MDMA, a lot of things are there, and they are sexually transmitted disease also they will have. And another thing, never ever they will expose the perpetrators. Whenever they were rescued by the NGOs and the police people, they will never ever tell the people who are behind the crime, because that is known as, everybody knows very well, that's a Stockholm syndrome. Whenever a person is being with Stockholm syndrome, they know the perpetrators' cruel things and the way they will handle the situation and the problems they will face in their life in the future. So they will never ever tell the name of the perpetrators. And after a few years, it becomes normalization of exploitation, because it becomes normal in their life also. Then the human right violation of those trafficked across the borders. So the first thing is that deprivation of the right to life. So it's a slave-like condition. They will not be able to go out also. Then deprivation of right to security, physical and economic security. Then many people will think that they are getting a girl in a brothel who gets a lot of amount, but that money never comes to them. That comes to the owner or the person who is earning the brothel, not to them also. Then deprivation of right to privacy. They are working as like a bonded labor. Another is denying access to health service. Usually, any person who are rescued from a brothel home will have a lot of disease, lot of issues and sickness and everything. So for them, they will never go to a primary health center or a doctor. They will have a home doctors in their brothel homes are nearby, and they used to serve even with the acid and everything. They used to serve. Then denial of right to self-determination. They are being sold and resold to many people. So they will have never get a time to say that I will determine my life also. Then denial of right to return to own community. So once a girl is being trafficked to many places and she or he will be in a stateless condition, they will not be back to the particular state or a particular locality or community. Then denial of right to representation. There is no voting right also there. There is no Aadhaar card. Nothing is there. So they will have a statelessness. Then denial of right to be heard before decision making. So their decisions are being taken by a lot of other people, not by them. So anti-human trafficking mission of India, they will have fourfold purpose. And the first purpose, unlike in any other criminal offense, the first purpose here is victim rescue of victim. In many of the other criminal offenses, the perpetrator's accountability or the upstart of the abuse is most important as far as the police is concerned. Here, the MHA has clearly said that the first responsibility of the police, along with the NGO, is to rescue of the victims, and then only it comes only the responsibility of the accused. And another thing, unlike in other cases, rehabilitation of the victim is very important, because if the victim is not rehabilitated properly, he or she may come back to the same profession. So to avoid that, victim has to be rehabilitated and they should be reintegrated. And the fourth is a structural transformation, because each and every people, because once a person become a commercial sexual worker, and if he or she were rescued, it is very difficult to go back to their community, because the society will not accept them. So we should have a structural transformation also. So these are the fourfold purpose of the anti-human trafficking mission. And why trafficking? Trafficking is the most profitable criminal activity. In a recent case, in any other activity, because other profitable criminal activities are drugs and arms dealing. But for that, they need lot of money. Crores and crores of money to be deposited or paid for purchase of drugs and arms. But for taking a girl, in a recent case, it is that the amount spent by the perpetrator was just a dairy milk. He gave a dairy milk to a girl, and the girl was attracted. Within a week, he took away the girl also. So the high profit, low risk is a motto as far as the trafficking is concerned. And from government figure, it's estimated 100 crore generated daily, and the International Labour Organization estimated global profit from trafficking is 32 million. And in India, from child labor trafficking, illegal profit generated is 1.7 lakh crore per year. And let's examine the trafficking of children and related issues. In India, we are facing such issue, and many of the children from India are being trafficked because the economic deprivation is one of the best example for this. Lot of people with the poor condition, even they are ready to sell their children for offering them job, especially girls and girls are still being considered as a object of desire also. Then lack of education, even though now education has become a fundamental right in our Indian constitution, even in many students are not, many children are not getting proper education. Then caste system, India, it's a curse, as everybody knows very well that even it is there in many parts of the country, and caste system is very prevalent, and the lower caste people will not be allowed to travel or take jobs or go for a good school and other things. It is still there. Then exploitation of resulting from sex discrimination. As far as a boy and a girl in a home is concerned, boy is preferred. In every home, boy is preferred. Even in the culturally advanced areas, boys are being preferred because there is a sex discrimination. Then political instability. We have seen in many European countries which had a political instability. Many women from there were trafficked for commercial sexual exploitation. And again, dysfunctional family and society sector. While I was working as a prosecutor in the juvenile court, on a research conducted, 90% of the CCL, child who are in conflict with the law, are coming from a broken family. So that itself shows that how these children comes to the offense. So dysfunctional family and the society sector also affects the human trafficking issue. And another important fact as far as India is concerned is corruption. We couldn't eliminate corruption so far. Even the people who are bound to obey the law, bound to do the law, and they are being corrupted, and these corrupted people are used for helping the trafficking for trafficking purpose. Now let's examine the roots of trafficking. So as far as the roots of trafficking, three things are very much in one is a source, one is a transit, and one is a destination. So here, unlike in other criminal cases, these all the three areas are very important, and the police have got a liability and a responsibility to go through what is to examine the three sources. And let's know about the cycle of trafficking. Trafficking interventions can be classified into three main categories under the following one. One is pre-trafficking, another is during trafficking, another is post-trafficking. Let's examine what is pre-trafficking, what is during trafficking, and post-trafficking. So this is an area which not only the police officials, all of us who are the part of the community will try to prevent, because pre-trafficking, as well as pre-trafficking is there, community pre-trafficking happens because more orientation programs or awareness programs to be conducted in community and workplaces, especially in colonies and other things where poor people are living. So usually the people are being trafficked from that place. So prevention is better than cure. So always we'll do something more efforts on pre-trafficking. This pre-trafficking purpose is done by the police with the help of the people of the locality and the local organizations, local NGO and other people. Then during trafficking, because as far as the trafficking is concerned, this is very much important, because trafficking always is involved a travel activity. It's a travel to destination. So during the travel, the interception is more important, and that police officials, especially during the night patrol time, also they have to intercept, they have to check each and every vehicle and to see that most of the trafficking cases, it is reported that these victims were trafficked during night, or they were used to travel during the night by the perpetrators. And a period of involuntary labor, as far as the exploitation of labor and other things, period of involuntary labor also will be taken care of. Then the third stage is the post-trafficking stage. Post-trafficking stage is the very important thing, is that rehabilitation and reintegration to the society. So much in many cases, it is found that when a person is being rescued, especially a girl or a woman is being rescued from a retreat or a brothel home, she will be in a very dilapidated condition. Even she will not be having a good dress to wear, and she may not be having undergarments. Even she might have not bath or not pasted, or all those things will be there. So immediately after taking care of rescuing the victim, the first thing done by the NGO who is under care of these victims are giving a first aid kit. First aid kit is not on medical first aid kit; it's a physical first aid kit which gives all of them. They're giving a dress to wear, undergarments, towel, brush, soap, paste, and all those things will be given us. So that then afterwards they should be taught some other lessons, how to live the life and like that, to give an employment for them, making employment opportunities for them. All of them has to be done with the help of the NGOs. Then reintegration to the community. They should be brought back to the community. So the three important aspects: pre-trafficking, during-trafficking, and post-trafficking is very much important. And every trafficking activity is an organized crime. So like unlike in any other criminal activity, suppose if a vehicle carrying spirit was being intercepted by the police, the police arrest the person, because usually there will be two people sitting in the front of the lorry. The person under the wheels will be the driver, and another person will be sitting next to him. So the police immediately arrest the driver. Sometimes the person who is next to him, he will vanish. So police also take out of the or seize the material, the lorry also. So they have got a lorry of spirit and a accused. So they got a material object and also an accused. So they will be very happy. So the case can be charge sheet can be filed. But as far as the trafficking is case, it is a lot of people. This is an organized crime. There is a lot of network is there. The first person will be a spotter. A spotter is a person who is spotting out the girl. So this spotting can be done by online also. Recently, Dr. Sumita Kishan, who was bagged the Padma Shri Award for anti-human trafficking, and who is running an organization called Prajila in Hyderabad. But she said that even AI is being used for trafficking or spotting the girls who are giving pictures in their DP, in the display profile and everything. And from the AI, with the help of AI, they are spotting people. So even offline and online spotting people are there. And the second person is a recruiter. Recruiter is a person who have a relationship. Sometimes that may be the pretext of love and other thing, and they will take the girl to a particular destination. And as usual, there should be a buyer and a seller. And there should be a person to transport the trafficked victim also. And there should be a person to harbor the girl, because once a girl is being trafficked to a brothel home, she will not be able to go to the commercial sexual exploitation activities. She will never become part of it, and she will refuse to do that activity. So for a few days or a weeks or a month, she has to be kept in a particular home, and that is known as harboring. And for all those activities, we need finance also. So that should be a finance here also. Then a brothel keeper. A brothel keeper is also a business now. So that person is also involved. And for every such activity, there should be a pimp and a clientele also. So all these persons are involved in this trafficking, and it's an organized crime. So our duty is to break the network. Now let's examine some of the laws related to anti-human trafficking, because the supreme law of the country says about the anti-human trafficking, which is in Article 23 of the Indian Constitution. Prohibition of trafficking in human beings and forced labor. So trafficking human beings and beggar and other similar forms of forced labor are prohibited and any contravention of this provision shall be an offence punishable in accordance with law. So, unlike in any other cases, in criminal cases, now this trafficking has become a constitutional offence also. And as far as the legislation to combat trafficking is concerned in India, as far as the general law is concerned, there is a Indian Penal Code, there is a procedure law, there is Supreme Court and High Court rulings, child rights conventions, Convention of Elimination and Discrimination of Against Women. So these are all usually considered as a general law. And there are special laws, as everybody is aware, Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956, Global Children's Act, Protection of Children from Sexual Offence Act 2012, Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act 2015, Bonded Labor System Abolition Act, Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act, Interstate Migrant Workmen's Act. These act or deals with combating trafficking. And there is another law in the pipeline, which is known as Trafficking of Persons, Prevention, Care and Rehabilitation Bill 2021. Even though such a bill was introduced in Lok Sabha in 2018 and passed, it couldn't be placed in Rajya Sabha, so that bill was lapsed. Now a new bill has been introduced and it is pending. So once the bill is passed, the entire activity bill comes under the entire Trafficking of Persons, Prevention, Care and Rehabilitation Bill. And most of the provisions in IPC, as far as trafficking is concerned, Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act, BOXO Act, Trafficking, Immoral Traffic Act, Migrant Act, all those will come in this particular act also. And another important act, as far as the trafficking is concerned, Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act. If we were able to enforce this law very strictly, then the trafficking cases will be very minimal. And the purpose of this act is to address trafficking and not prostitution. And section 3 to 9 are only substantive laws. They are only penal provisions. And the rest covers procedural aspects. And it applies both the males and females, recognition of the role of NGOs, attention of women's rights, special attention of child rights, innovative presumption laws. Everything is based as far as the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act is concerned. The new act came into new section of law which came into Indian Penal Code for 2013 is section 370, trafficking of person. That act, the old act of bonded labor was shifted. So that's a very definition. It is very difficult to understand also. Now let's examine the definition in this particular aspect. So trafficking is a process that results in exploitation. So the basic thing as far as trafficking is concerned, exploitation. So exploitation can be many ways. Exploitation can be purpose of the prostitution, sexual exploitation, forced labor, slavery, and removal of organs. So that is for the purpose. So what are all the acts? So all the acts involved with the trafficking are being taken care in section 370. That is recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of person. And what are the means used for trafficking? It can be by force, coercion, by means of penalty, threat, abduction, fraud, deception, of abuse of power, possession of vulnerability, and by inducement. So this is the definition which is given in the IPC as far as 370 is concerned. So all activities need not be considered in one particular case. Any of the activities and what the section clearly says that the word including is being used because so many new activities come. As I stated earlier, only the word removal of organ was used. Now it is a removal of skin is also being taken. So, but since the section is exhaustive, that can also be used under the section 370. And the punishment is very stringent. I will just go through give you some of the provision for punishment in section 370. Trafficking of a person is 7 to 10 years, and trafficking of more than one person is 10 years to life and fine. Trafficking of minor is 10 years to life with a fine. Trafficking more than one minor is 14 years to life. And person convicted of offence of trafficking of minor on more than one occasion is imprisonment for natural life and fine. And another thing which should be an eye opener to the police officers and public servants is who whenever a public servant or a police officer involving a trafficking of a minor, the punishment is imprisonment for natural life. And there are two explanations that is very important as far as this is concerned. The expression exploitation shall include any act of physical exploitation or any form of sexual exploitation, slavery or practice similar to slavery, servitude, or the forced removal of organ. So many other things will also come under it. And the most important thing that even though a major is being trafficked, if it is a case of anti-human trafficking, then the consent of the victim is immaterial in determination of the offense of trafficking. So even the victim is aged above 18 years. If he or she being trafficked, when it comes that case is involved in a trafficking case, the consent is immaterial. And the 370A is also very important. This case clearly says what to deal with if a minor or a major is being used for commercial sexual, trafficked minor or a major is being used for a commercial sexual activity. So whoever knowingly or having reasons to believe that a minor has been trafficked, engages such minor for sexual exploitation in any manner, shall be punished with a rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 5 years. Then which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. When it comes in the form of a major, then the imprisonment is low, then it is lighter than the imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 3 years. So the minimum punishment is also given as far as this 370A is concerned when a trafficked person is being for sexual activity. Now let's examine some of the aspects regarding anti-human trafficking investigation and thereafter. The primary responsibility of ensure that victims feel safe. So as far as the investigation is concerned, and after thereafter the other activities, especially on the court trial and the proceedings are concerned, the responsibility to ensure that the victim is feel safe. And the responsibility is to all people, not only to the police. Comes to prosecutors, lawyers, judges, doctors, NGO staff, state officials, etc. So we are all caregivers, and our first responsibility to ensure that the victim feels safe. Unless and until the victim feels safe, she or he will not be able to give a deposition before the court, correct deposition to the court to see that the accused is convicted properly. So when a case of a human trafficking or a immoral trafficking case is being produced, the first thing as far as the police is concerned, the priority investigation officer will be custody of the accused. And if it is a minor, the victim should be produced for the child welfare committee. And if it's a major victim, the court shall conduct a home inquiry by a probation officer, then or NGO. And interim safe custody at a protective home. In many cases, the interim safe custody is being asked by the perpetrators only, the owner of local home or his friends. That has to be streamlined by the court and see that they are being sent to the protective home. And medical and hospitalization tests. Because in many of the cases, the girls will not be in a position to say their age also, but because of Stockholm syndrome, they will not be in a position to say their age. In a case which I have dealt, a 20-year-old girl from West Bengal was arrested from a border town in Kerala, and she was produced in my court. And it was in 20 years back before the POCSO Act came into effect. But the girl said to the police, her age is 20. But only the woman police constable who accompanied the girl throughout her journey from the brothel home, from the lodge to the police station, from the police station to the court, and then only she said that with her interaction and with her limited knowledge in Hindi, she could understand that the girl is only 14 to 15 years old. After the death of both parents, she was sold to Chennai and Chennai to Coimbatore, and she was being sold to many people who was taken for commercial sexual activity. Even I had sent some social workers to the jail. She was remanded to the jail, and she said it is 20. She said 20 because that is a Stockholm syndrome. She will ever tell that she is underage or below 18 because once the age is being told, then another sections of law will be attracted. So she is being taught whenever police is caught you, then you have to tell that your age is 20. Then I instructed the police officer to file a report for a ossification test, and it was sent for a medical college forensic department. Then age came as 17 to 19 after ossification time. Then it was in favor of the age has to be taken in favor of the child as per the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act. The age was taken as 70, and since she the victim, she was below 18 years of old. Again, she said CCL, but she was transferred to the Juvenile Justice Court. A juvenile justice court cannot entertain an immoral traffic victim who is below 18 years old. Their police file a report and sent her to Child Welfare Committee, where she was properly rehabilitated. So, ossification of the child is very important. Then, statement of the victim to be recorded under 164 or 164(5)(a) the provisions of. Then, public prosecutor's argument as far as the court is concerned that opposition of great plea of the accused, if the minor victim noticed before the magistrate, then immediately he or should be transferred to Child Welfare Committee. Oppose custody of minor victim without home verification, medical and ossification test, statement of the victim to be recorded under 164 CRPC. But only when the victim is ready, because immediately after the seeing of the victim, and he shall not be taken for 164 because they will not be in a position to say the clear facts before the court. And whenever a child below 18 years, if the missing girl or missing boy, if case is registered by the police, that girl or boy never should be produced before a magistrate, because a court will not have such a counseling facility to find out what was the circumstances why the boy and girl went out from the house also. So the missing girls and missing boys shall be produced before the appropriate authority, which is a child welfare committee only. Because child welfare committee is a bench of magistrate. In a case in 2003 reported in Maharashtra Law Journal, Prem versus State of Maharashtra. No magistrate can exercise jurisdiction over any person under 18 years of age if such a person is in need of care and protection. And another thing with regard to the court proceeding, statement of the victim under 164, in a listed reported in 2008 Criminal Law Journal 3233. Magistrate should not be immediately record victim statement under CRPC 164. Then other court proceedings including closure of brothels. That if the case is committed, that brothel home, whether it's a hotel or a lodge, whatever it may be, that can be closed. It can be closed by the subdivisional magistrate, not by the divisional magistrate, under section 18 of the ITPA subdivisional magistrate. And ensure file charge sheet within the stipulated period of no statutory bail. In case accused is absconding, split the case and expedite commitment of process under 370. Then commitment to the sessions court. These are the things. And there are roles for the stakeholders. Let's examine who are all the stakeholders in this thing. Police, prosecutors, judiciary, NGO, medical professionals, forensic experts, political leaders, media, parents, audience, state, including district magistrate, sub-district magistrate, women and child department, local self-government, then labor department, corporate and industrial houses. Any person connected with human trafficking are the stakeholders in that thing. Because you may wonder why the corporate industrial houses are also included here, because rehabilitation is one of the most important issues. So we need the help of them also. Then the challenges is that whenever as far as the human trafficking case is concerned, poor victim identification and the lack of victim cooperation, unavailability of victim and witness, language barriers, lack of collaboration, lack of resources, and lack of training. So even in the language, there should be translators shall be appointed, and there should be a good rapport with the victims. If we fail to get a good rapport, then the case itself will fail. So anti-human trafficking, these challenges are very important, and the police and prosecutors should be trained, and the officials shall be trained as far as in this aspect is concerned. And the girl or a boy will not be in a position to say the entire truth also. So can you hear what you are not saying? So they will be not in a position to tell all the facts. So even the recent decision of the Kerala High Court, Justice Vichu he said that even in this order it is stated that a clinical psychologist should be used while examining or treatment of the child, because a policeman or police person may not be able to get all the facts from a boy or a child, and as far as a also case is concerned. So that this is applicable to all immoral traffic and human trafficking case also. Now let's examine the process of rehabilitation. There are 4 aspects of rehabilitation officer. The first is on a psychological rehabilitation. It includes trauma care, peer counseling, de-addiction, psychotherapy, counseling, psychiatric care, life skills, and spirituality. And economic rehabilitation is also very important because they should be able to get a job and get some amount for their living also. So they should be rehabilitated economically also. They should get some job or they should get knowledge of doing some skills also. Then, as far as this civic rehabilitation is concerned, it is a duty of the government and NGOs to provide them with a with the Aadhaar card and voters ID and like that. And there are a lot of challenges in rehabilitation, and the main challenge comes as far as the society is not ready to accept the people, and people should think that they are also part of the society. And there are a lot of foreign victims are coming to India, especially after the breakdown of many countries in Europe and old USSR area. So many girls from foreign, women and girls from foreign are available. They are being trafficked in India for commercial sexual exploitation. So Ministry of Home Affairs guidelines says that foreign victims should not be charged under Section 14 of Foreigners Act for overstay. They are victims of trafficking. It would result in re-victimization. Recently, we have started an organization for helping the victims of crime in this victims of crime. That is started in my home district. Now it is spread to across the country. It started as Vishwas, victims information, sensitization, welfare, and assistance society. So this is the organization for giving victims a voice in the criminal justice system. Now Vishwas India will be formed to spread because this NGO will be helping especially in the anti-human trafficking areas and other victims also. So thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to conduct such a session. Our motto should be save victims, save families, save environment for a next generation. Thank you very much for this opportunity. The time allotted me was 45 minutes. That is over. So I am stopping now. Now for interaction.
Yeah. Can we dispense with the PPT? PPT we can dispense with. Yeah. So we can see as to whether there is any question. We can just close that one of the, there's a echo of your system. We'll have to unmute. So if you have to sum it, what do you think? How do you see the things forward? How to control it? Mr. Prem, how do you feel that if you have to sum it up, or you can summarize the entire session in 5 minutes?
Yeah. Sure. Because as far as the trafficking is concerned, that is going to be a greatest human right violation as far as the country is concerned. Many girls and boys below at the age of 18 being kidnapped, or they were being taken on the pretext of love, and they are being sold for commercial sexual exploitation. So this area of law is may not be much interested to the legal circle because the cases reported are very few. Even though these cases are the punishment is very strong, stringent punishments are being taken, and the trial is in Sessions case, but the number of cases reported is very less. And as far as India is concerned, and there is a presumption that whenever a girl is being not seen in their home, she might have eloped with a boy, and because of the society issues and other things, then many people, especially from the higher income and the lower income people, they will never report the case to the police also. So these help the traffickers very well. So we should see that, like POCSO in such cases shall be reported to the police whenever a girl or a boy is sick, and they have to be taken care law and order situation has to be improved, and the police officers, that is a more important thing. The police officers and prosecutors shall be given good training as far as the human trafficking is concerned, and this is going to be a problem not only for the legal community or for the, it is going to be a problem for the society, and such a people who are doing victimized at a tender age, they turn against the society, and that goes to be going to be a big headache to the society and the country. Thank you.
We don't have any question as such, Mr. Prem. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. And tomorrow, friends, do stay connected with us at 6 p.m. We will be having session, the overview of the Arms Act 1959. Thank you.